The first semester, we copied a bunch of stuff for y'all. And don't worry, we made a key to everything. We were gonna do a couple problems together, just to show you how we're teaching math now. When we were in school, we pretty much learned one way to add, one way to subtract, one way to do multiplication and division. And now it's different. We're teaching kids to use more mental math, use a lot of different strategies that I think would have helped me when I was learning, because I just did the steps, but I didn't really know why. I just did step 1, step 2, step 3, and then I went from there. So what we're using now is research-based strategies that really help kids learn math. And this week we've worked on mental math, and you would be amazed how much your kids can do. And I don't let them use any paper or pencil, and they have to use their brain, that's it. And then I put problems on the document camera, and they solve them, and they can do it. And it's amazing. And it helps them solve big problems when they learn how to break things up, or counting on, or using compensation. Like compensation would be, like if you're adding 9, add 10 to a number, and then subtract 1 back. Little strategies like that help them think and be able to add and subtract. We don't always have paper and pencil with us. So we have to be able to do math. And I told the kids, if you can't do math, how do you know someone's ripping you off? What if you're getting change back and they give you the wrong change and you don't even know if you got the right change? Math is very important. And as grown-ups, we don't want to run out of money when we're paying bills. So I have to make sure that my math is right. Okay. We have Padlets. I'm going to show them to you. These are our sites, and then we're going to put, Ms. Hamilton, are we going to put this on our Padlet?
Yes.
We're going to put it on our Padlet, and we're going to send you an email with this link, and you can click on it. So I'm going to exit out of this for just a second, and I'm going to show you what my Padlet looks like. We use this every single day in class. So when I pull up their homework, we're going to check their homework, I just tap it, the homework pops up. And then everybody gets out their whiteboard and we answer that question. We do showdown. And I'll say, show me what you got for number 1. They all put it on the forehead and they show me. And I look around the room and I know who's got it, who doesn't have it. And then we just scroll, this is what we do in class. And then I write with my pen on here and we go over it and they make corrections to their homework. So we do go over it every single day. And we're not trying to give them too much, just 2 problems a night, Monday through Thursday. So that's our homework. We have my learning objectives, problem of the day, learning examples. This is, I just put this in here. I put this in there for y'all today. This is, that's the 3rd grade one, but it applies for 4th grade as well. That's from the HEB curriculum, and I'll put the 4th grade one in there. I didn't realize it was 3rd grade. Oops. And then I have my class dojo. I give them points if they have their homework done, that kind of thing. This is the Pearson website where they have visual lessons online. These are their math books. So they stay here. I told them their math books have to live here because I don't want to have to make all these copies. So we have volume 1 for the 1st semester and volume 2. This is their student activity book. And that way I don't have to make so many copies for math. Their tests are in here, all kinds of stuff are in here, but we do more than just these books. But that's, this is my other class that I teach, and then my class is in the cubbies, their books. All right, so we'll give you the link to our Padlets. Ms. Hamilton has one just like it with the same information. Let me go back to the PowerPoint. Okay, this is Year at a Glance. I'm going to put this on my Padlet and I already have it on my website. Do you want to take over, Ms. Hamilton?
Yes. I didn't pass out the packet.
Oh, do you want me to finish?
Yep.
I'll do that.
All right, so I'm Ms. Hamilton. Good evening. So this is a year at a glance. It kind of breaks down what will be covered in 4th grade. So we already had 13 days of place value concepts with whole numbers and decimals. I know you've seen those problems where they're talking about tenths and hundreds, moving on to partial number drive versus whole number drive. Right now, we're working on the addition and subtraction strategies, so pushing our students outside the box, like Mrs. Pate said, to do more mental math, and composition, breaking apart, strip diagrams. Then we'll take our CBA on October 3rd, which is a test over these two concepts, what we've been working on since the start of school. So once we take our test, we'll be moving back into addition and subtraction, moving on to multiplication with connections to division. And as you can see on the year at a glance, it gives us a pacing scale. So sometimes we push those days out. This says 8, we may need 2, because every year, every student, every class is different. This year, we may not need the full 8, but it's a pacing guide for teachers. After multiplication with the connections to division, we'll be moving on to division with connections to multiplication. So they kind of spiral back in with each other. Then we'll have DBA, which will be over both the first and the second 6 weeks. And then after our first DBA, we'll still be talking about division and multiplication, and then we'll be extending multiplication to 2-digit factors. That's not it. Here's the second part. Fractions with operations. Here's another CBA. After that second CBA, we'll be moving on to fraction concepts, operations. The next big thing in 4th grade, geometry. It used to be the big thing in high school. It's the next big thing in 4th grade. Patterns and equations, measurement, data analysis, and representations. Another DB2, so that we can try to catch them where they are before STAR comes. After DB2, data analysis and representations, personal finance, literacy, and then lastly, the PDSA before the STAR. So it's 2 pages, but this is everything that your child will be covering this school year. Any questions? This will also be posted on my website. Okay, so we have a blueprint. This is the Math Star blueprint for 4th grade, and it breaks down the test. So they're broken up into different categories. We have 4 reporting categories. Reporting category number 1 is the numerical representations and relationships. So if we look farther to the right, it tells you how many questions the students will have in that reporting category. Reporting category number 2 is computations and algebraic representations. Again, on the far right, it only tells us that they'll have 11 questions. Reporting category number 3, geometry and measurement, they'll have 10 questions. Reporting category number 4, data analysis and personal financial literacy, only 4 questions. Also in 4th grade, they have griddable questions. I know that you've probably seen those Unit 1 tests come home at both classes that we took last Friday. And on the last 2 pages of the notebook pages, they had griddables, where the students have to write in the answer on the top, and they have to also match the bubble number. Have y'all seen that come home?
Yes.
Yes? I call it peanut butter and jelly in my class, because in order to have the peanut butter and jelly sandwich, we have to have the peanut butter and the jelly. So in order for STAR to give them that check for it to be correct, they have to write it in on the top, and also bubble it in correctly to get the full credit. Because the state of Texas is not going to come to Bell Manor and say, hey, let me see Ms. Hamilton's test to see if it actually match in my booklet. They're going to score what's on that Scantron. So that's very important if you can help reinforce with the students to make sure whatever's written on the top that they bubble it in. On homework, you will start to see more practice with that, because we want to have that down to the T before May gets here. Did I leave anything out on the blueprint?
Well, that only says 34 questions, but they always throw in about 6 field test questions, and they don't count against your child. They put them in the test to see how the 4th graders will do, and so they can think about adding them for the next year. So it's typically about 40 questions. So the 34 of them will be those. So you can see the big, the top 3 categories, 1, 2, and 3. That's where most of the questions are.
Parents, do you all have any questions? All right, fast to math. I passed out that handout for you. Fast Math is a technology website that your students use here at school, but they can also practice at home. Our goal is to use this technology piece 3 times a week. So far, we have been going 2 times a week. And it's working on their facts. It times them, they're able to go to different levels, and it's a good practice so that they can have those fundamentals down.
They should know their passwords, their logins and their password. Their login is their initials and their 6-digit ID. We have computer cards for them here. We can have the kids write it down in their moose, like maybe in the front of their moose. Would that help? So that they can, if they forget it, they can hook to it. And then the password is capital HEB123. That's the password. And they know it. They've already been on 4 times
Yes.
now here at school, but they can do it at home. And we've already programmed it, so they're working on multiplication because that's our focus. We have to know our facts up to 12 times 12 in 4th grade.
I would like to also add, on the Padlet websites, on the teacher websites in both of our classrooms, there's a list of interactive websites. So if you go onto our Padlet and you click it, it's going to take your student to that game to work on that skill. So we would encourage you to use the Padlet. I know I've also encouraged my students, write it down, do it on your pad. Look up the Padlet on your pad and use those websites to practice.
Well, I have my old website, but they're gonna switch, every teacher's gonna have a Padlet. Well,
That's what
she can't set hers up because she's new.
I have the Padlet, I can't.
You have the Padlet, she can't set it up. I still have mine set up on the old one, so if you go to HEB ISD, go to Bell Manor, 4th grade, my name, mine is still up there, but, and they said it's just gonna be a few weeks, it's gonna switch. And then I guess on the HEB website, it'll take you to our Padlet, it's just not done yet. So that's why we're gonna give you the link. I just wanna let you know that we're changing. They wanna change to something better. And so basically it's like a poster online, you can just keep adding things to your Padlet or deleting them.
And I know when we send the weekly newsletters, we'll also make sure that that Padlet address is there. Just in case you forget it, you lose it, it's always coming every Monday.
I'll add that. I already turned it in for next week, but I promise I'll get it on there.
Online. So all I have to do is touch it.
Okay, I'll do that, okay.
Because I know
I'll
everyone
send
has
it.
a smartphone, or most of us have a lot of cell phones, and it'll be easier for you or your child. Hit it, go there, and pull those websites up, because they're very technology savvy. They know how to use the cell phones very well, better than we do sometimes. So it'd be easier access so they can practice. What will the first semester in 4th grade look like? I'm so glad you all asked Mrs. Pate and myself. We're getting ready to pass out a packet, or Ms. Pate already passed out the packet, and it's titled 4th Grade Math Concepts. It's a kind of thick packet. We're taking you back to school tonight. And these are just example word problems of what your son or daughter is doing or will be doing in our math classes. And we wanted to take this time to allow you the opportunity to skim through the problems, work a problem. We do have an answer key for you, but we did want you to at least try to work maybe, the first 1 or 2 pages to see what your student has to be able to do, to see where their mindset has to go, how far and how in-depth their thinking has become. 4th grade now is so rigorous. Some of the things that they're learning, I learned in high school. And they're learning it all the way down in 4th grade. So it's really promoting and growing them to be lifelong learners and to really excel in everything that they do.
No, I think you do great.
I also passed out a strategies page. If you look front to back, multiplication and division. Like Mrs. Page said, when we learned, it was one way. Yeah. And math now, I use the term buffet because I like to eat. And my students like to eat CC's, Golden Corral. And we talked about when you go to these places, what do they have? Food. unlimited food. Well, math is just that now, it's a buffet. So they have a variety of selections that we have to expose them to, we have to show them, they have to try it. But our goal is that they find that one that they really, really, truly like, and they're able to attack those problems every time. But we have to equip them with everything because we don't know. Just like that blueprint, those 9 questions, they don't tell us, oh, it's only gonna look like this. So we have to expose them so that they're ready. So this is a visual picture representation for multiplication and division strategies for you and your student. Your students will get these when we come to multiplication and division. So you're actually getting the work before your student sees the strategy sheet. You have a sneak preview of what's coming home.
So we haven't taught any of these yet?
No, we have not taught any multiplication or division, but when the Hamilton comes home and I say, Daddy, I'm doing area model with multiplications, you can say, oh yeah, I went to that parent meeting, let me go get that handout. It was an example. Let's look at the example. But we really, truly, truly need you all support because the concepts are rigorous, but there's nothing that we can't do without parental and teacher and student engagement. So that's why we have these handouts for you. That's why we're giving you the strategies. We want you to see the type of questions that your students will have to be able to do.
Yeah, that's not all the strategies.
Yeah. And
Those
this
are
is
just the
some.
main ones. These are the ones that most kids like. And what we do, just to let you know, we do teach them the traditional way. But we teach them the other ways first. And then what we found is when we get to the traditional, they understand it and they get it. I never got it in 4th grade. I remember doing 2x2 digit multiplication, and I just did the steps. I had no idea what that 0 was for or anything. I just did it. And I got the right answer, and my teacher was happy, my grades were good, and it was all good. So, you know, it took me a while to really, to me, when I first learned these strategies, I'm gonna tell you, it hurt my brain a little bit. I thought, this is just, I was so used to doing it the way that I learned it, that it was kind of hard for me at first, but now it's really easy. So there's multiplication on the front, division on the back, and we're gonna provide a copy for your children too. They're gonna have one in their binder, a plastic sleeve, and we're gonna put them in their math journal. We're gonna make them write it down too. And then of course we use them in class as well. So should we just go ahead and do are we doing the packet next?
Yes.
We're not gonna do all of it, don't worry. We're not doing the whole thing. And we're gonna give you a key too. So don't leave without a key. Is that next?
Yes.
Oh, and on the back of the sheet,
You try. So
Yes.
when we do a guided practice with our students, we model, we do the problems with them, and so we're going to try with our parents. Don't worry, we have the key, we have your back. We want you to see what it looks like, the difference.
last year, I did not make a key until after the meeting, and the parents said, what would be really nice is if you had a key. And I said, okay, I'll make that. And it took me a while to make that key. I also wanted to point out on the back of this blueprint sheet, I did put a couple of websites on here. This is the, I stole yours, the 4th grade release test. Has the answer key, it's got, and I put a couple of websites that have star practice sheets for you as well. And then I'll put that on my website too. So on the back of this. I stole yours. I do that all the time in class. Here, I need this. Okay.
First of all, we started out, this is what we started with the very first week of school is place value. And in excuse me, in 4th grade, we have to learn all the way to the billions and 2 decimal places to the right. Here we go. So that's how much they have to learn. When they were in 3rd grade, they didn't really do decimals except for money, and they only went to the 100,000th place. So as you can see, the numbers are a lot larger than they were in 3rd grade. So this sheet will tell you the different kind of expanded forms that we use now. Excuse me just a second. So we have a poster over there, the ways that we do now, and they're all on the sheet too. You have the regular old expanded form. That's the one I knew in school. I did not do words and numbers. I did do written form, but I certainly didn't do place value combinations, and I know I did not do expanded notation. Not until 7th grade did I do that. When I was in algebra, then we started doing expanded notation. That's what we're doing right now. And you would be amazed, but in my class, this is their favorite one. They love this one. And they get it, even with the decimals. They know their place value, and that's because of what they've already learned before they came to 4th grade. So those give you examples of all the different place value. We did this with them, and it was kind of hard for them at first, but it became easy. And then this is just a place where you could write it down. But what I want to do is I want to get to the problems, okay? And here's something you can do to help your kids with addition and subtraction. And that would be doing doubles, subtracting with zeros, okay? And I'm going to give you a key that looks like this. This is what I'm talking about. Making tens. I know my brother did this. He taught me this. Oh, he was really good at math. And he would add up a string of numbers really fast. And I said, how'd you do that? He said, I made all the tens that I could. I saw 6 and 4 and I made a 10. 10 plus 7 is 17. And he was really good at mental math, and he was just that way naturally. When you're doing 8 plus 9, the kids have worked really hard in the younger grades to learn their doubles. So they have already learned to do a double plus 1, which would be 8 plus 9. And I don't want kids to always have to have a piece of paper or always grab a cell phone. I just think that you should be able to do that in your head. Subtracting with zeros, whoa, really hard. Especially when you get over 100. That's when it becomes hard. We do teach them to regroup, and we have them add a 10 and circle it, and then I have them add up backwards. Is 7 plus 3 10? Yes. And do a check. So you don't have to rewrite the problem. I remember my teacher used to make me rewrite the problem all the time. Did your teachers make you do that? To check your work? So you had to take these two numbers and add them together to make sure that it equaled 1,000?
Yeah.
Okay. I had to do that. But this way, another teacher showed me this, just add it up from the bottom and make sure that it works. Is 4 plus 5 9? Yes. And you just check it off. And if it's a 0, then you don't have to even bring that down. Okay, and then let's go in your packet. Let's look at, let's see, we have addition, subtraction, we've got multiplication. Let's see. We'll do one with addition and subtraction. Okay, this one is about Mark goes to the store and he's buying some materials for his project. Do y'all have a pen or a pencil or something to write with? Lots of pens and pencils. Right here. The keys are right there. I have pens. Anybody need a pen? Thank you. You're grown-ups, you get to write the in. Need a pen? That one? Okay. Anybody else? I'll give you whatever I got. Okay.
And I believe there's 2 CBAs as well. There's 4 for the year. They used to be 6, they cut them down. It was too much testing. But the STAR test won't be till May. It used to be way earlier, and it was really hard for us to teach all the curriculum and all the concepts and get it done in April. So now it'll be, what, the second week?
Yes.
The second week.
I would just like to add, a parent had a really good question. When we talked about coming in to see the assessments, when we have the parent conference on November 1st, you'll be able to come in and look at that data folder. That's what we call it. We say data folder. You'll be able to look at your pieces of work.
Yes, and we have, there's one right here. So we have, this is what you'll see, and we keep track of their scores. So this first one is math. We're not going to focus on, the grade as much as how many did you get right out of the questions. So, And now they've changed it to met, it's met the standard and mastered, which is the same thing as level 3. So on the first one, they'll fill this out on October the 3rd, the next day when we grade it. Then they will just shade that in. I did not meet the standard, I met the standard, and then they're gonna write how many questions they got right. We want them to focus on how many they got right, not how many they got wrong. That's more of the focus. And then if they achieve level 3, which would be a 90 or higher, then they fill in this box. They just shade it in with a crayon. So we don't put the grade on there, but the kids figure it out. It's not hard. If you have 20 questions or 5 points, please. They figure it out. So you will too. And then we make a plan. So we always have to make our plan. How many did I get right? What's my next assessment? The date of the next assessment? What did I do that worked? Things that I want to keep doing, things I want to fix. And then they make their goals. And then the next time when they take a test or an assessment, then they'll write those here and talk about what strategies they use. So we're trying to get them to make goals and reach their goals. So, and that's actually for every single subject. So that's gonna be for science and reading and writing as well. And you know they have 3 tests in 4th grade, right? They have math, reading, and writing. So that's pretty much it. And then we're gonna have another meeting. We'll have another parent night for you in the 2nd semester. And we'll talk about what we're doing in the 2nd semester so that you'll be prepared. And then, call us or email us. Do you have any questions?
So they can access
Yes.
the classroom from home?
Yes, and they already know, she already knows her login and password. So, and she can write it down. You can copy it down in your notes, in the front of your notes, so you'll have that from your computer card if you need to. So she should be able to do that at home. They like kids to do that at least 3 times a week. It's supposed to help them learn their facts better. And that's pretty much it, unless you have anything else. Yes? Yes.
So if you miss that day, then you go sign up to make sure.
Meeting. And I'll get my form out. And then remember, that's a student-led conference. So it's not gonna be you come in the room in the old style traditional, just you and I, and we talk about your kid. Your child has to come with you. They're gonna have their data folder, they're gonna have their math, CBA, or any other test that they have, and they're gonna share with you, this is how I'm doing. And they'll have a template with a flow chart, and they have certain things they have to go over with you, so that I could actually have a parent and child at every single table. So that way, it doesn't take as long, and I don't have to be here for 16 hours in one day and do, 30 minutes per conference. So that way, I'm here just if you have questions, but it is student-led, and that's November the 1st, I believe.
Yes.
Yes, November the 1st. And this is good because we'll have the first report card, we'll have the first math, CBA. We can really tell you how your child is doing. You can look at their test and see what they're doing or see what they're not doing.
If you haven't signed up, it's not too late. Just please make sure you contact your
Homeroom teacher.
child's homeroom teacher.
We kind of signed up for that kind of stuff like at the beginning of the year, correct?
We did.
Will we
We
be,
did.
when will we be reminded of the time?
I'll remind you about a week out and then the week of.
Okay.
And I'll send home, what I usually do is I make a sticker and I'll say your conference time is, and then I fill in the time and I'll
Okay.
put it in our news. We'll definitely send out reminders, so. This is all my stuff at the beginning of the year, so we'll find it and we'll here it is. I have lots of available times.
If you all have no more questions, I would like to just say thank you on behalf of Ms. Pate and myself. We thank you for the parental support. I cannot stress it enough how imperative it is. We're so appreciative that you came out tonight so that you can see what your student is doing in the classroom and what they will be doing. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to email us, call us. If you call, we cannot answer because we'll be teaching. But please contact us so that we can help. And I also wanted to add, please encourage your students to try. Even if they do not arrive at the correct answer, just keep encouraging them to try. Because eventually, if they keep trying, they're gonna arrive at the correct answers. You wanna boost their confidence. So thank you.
Thank you. This is just mine. This is just on mine.
You're welcome.
So then-